BYB returns to Denver for a night of hard-hitting action Saturday, February 22nd at the Stockyards Event Center for BYB 37, Denver Brawl 4. The main event will feature two of BYB's most explosive fighters. When the champ, Harry the Hitman Gigliotti, defends his BYB men's super lightweight title against undefeated John Bernard. In the co-main event, BYB Featherweight champion Helen Peralta will look to become BYB's first two-division women's champion when she faces Brazil's Lailani Mota for the vacant BYB Super Featherweight Championship. Plus, undefeated former BYB middleweight champion Sam the Caveman Liera returns to the Trigon in a rematch with one of the toughest, meanest fighters in the sport, Ryan Jett. Catch these matchups and more. Visit BYBExtreme.com today for tickets and information.
Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire. You know, whether you're sick in life, man, or whatever, you know, my grandfather taught me the world doesn't stop for you, so you get up and you continue doing what you're doing, no matter how much pain you're in or how hurt you are. And I wasn't going to turn down an opportunity with the one and only Helen Peralta, the champ. The champ is here. How you doing, homie?
I'm doing good. I mean, I was sparring today. It didn't go my way, so I'm a little pissy, but it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. One of my sparring partners, one of my coaches, so he kind of knows what I'm going to do. So he kind of put it on me because we're working on something very specific for this fight. So I'm like, all right, I can see it, you know, that he will let you know. It's that kind of a
Right?
guy that will let you know. You don't have to speculate with him. So yeah, my face is a little red. So I put some makeup on because seriously, it was just all on fire. He landed too many, but I'm good. You know, I feel good. I feel strong. After we spar, I still had 40-minute hit workout to do, and I finished with a bang. So we're good.
Yeah. You know, see, one thing I love about who you are, Helen, I've watched you grow in this sport. I've watched you come up in different genres in this sport. Neither one of us knew we were going to end up at BYB. Neither one of us knew
No.
what the outcome was going to be, but we've always been friends. And I dealt with your coaches after the last time I had you on the show, and they really touched my heart because they truly believe in the core of Helen Peralta. They truly believe in the walk. What is it that had you put your guard down and let your coaches, your trainers instill that belief and that walk into the world champion as you are today?
Well, I have put my guard down sometimes, but not in life. So sometimes I have to like, there's only so many battles you can fight. So
Yeah.
most people don't know, like they only see my persona out there, you know, social media is easy to manipulate. I could be, I was homeless before my last fight. I trained like 10 days top for my last fight, but nobody knew. I was living out of my car, but I don't talk about that stuff. So sometimes I have to just move my attention from one thing to another, but it doesn't mean that my guard is down. It means like there's a fire over here that's burning way faster. So I have to, you know, go here and come back. And some of my coaches can see me doing that. And that's what keeps them believing in me because they know I'm handling all this shit. I never use it as an excuse. And I'm still there. I'm still showing up. No matter what, I always show up. I fall down so many times I couldn't even tell you about because there's so many I lost count. But I refuse to stay down there. I always find a way to come back up.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I love about you because we were talking about this before we went live because I'm transparent. We've had a long friendship. I've watched you cross correlate genres and I just love where you ended up. You know, not only, you know, and I know people are going to say, Don, you're beating a dead drum, but you still to this day are the only one to beat Christine Ferea. I know it's a dead horse and I know there's never going to be a cross correlation between promotions. But what I think you had to do was create Helen Peralta, the bare knuckle fighter, and move forward. How hard was that for you to let go that side of BKFC and create a new world champion in BYB?
It was too easy. It wasn't hard for me because here's the thing, you know, the world keeps on turning. as you say, it doesn't matter how you're feeling that day. The world's gonna keep going. Life is gonna keep going. You either get on the train or you don't. You can just stay behind. I know how these things works. It's all about likes and all this other stuff that is not part of my personality. So I just let it go. I pick what I like. It's like pawning for gold. I pick what I want and I let everything else go, because in the end you can't control what everybody does. And right now we live in a time where most people, they are so affected what people are going to think, what people are going to do, what's the popular thing to do is, oh, there's a new dance on TikTok and we all going to do that. It's just like I can't deal with social media because of that. I do my own dance in the dark because I'm a terrible dancer, but I enjoy it. And that's all that matters. Life, like simplicity of life, is so much better.
Most definitely, champ. Most definitely. I got one more question. I'm gonna get some comments, and then I'll pass it over to Steve. But how hard has it been in the heart and on the mind of Helen Peralta this last year, knowing that the last fight, in my opinion, was an intentional headbutt from Lalani Mota, and the fight had to end. How did Helen Peralta perceive that? And how did you build back up to this point to now where you're going to face, Mota at BYB 37 in Denver at the Stockyards on February 22nd?
Well, when the headbutt happened, it was terrible timing because I was homeless. I needed to be able to fight to make money. We don't get paid unless we fight. So that cut was so deep that I was not able to fight for like 3 or 4 months. Right. And then I get this fight scheduled for July, and it was February when it happened. I was like, what am I doing in between? Like, I could go get a job, but that means I won't be able to do things that I'm supposed to do in order to be able to be on top of the sport. So that did affect me, not because she did it. It didn't matter who did it. The fact is that it happened. And then now it was just another thing added to the fucking buttload of issues that I was already going on through. So I'm like, okay, great. I had a huge issue with alcohol,
Yeah.
because I was going into a major depression, but I hate taking pills. So I didn't want to take any pills for it. So couldn't sleep, like anxiety and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't know how to deal with it, and I don't want to go to the doctor because all they do is give you a bunch of pills and shit. So I refused to be part of it, and I was just trying to ride that out until July. But then it got really, really dark. I literally trained like a handful of time for the fight against Medina because I was so depressed. Like, it was like a heavy blanket on top of me. I couldn't take MMA fights. I couldn't take anything because she broke my fucking face. So I knew that if somebody looked at it, it was gonna reopen. I had a cut already when I went into the fight with Mota the first time, and I didn't want to get stitches. That was before I went to
Yeah.
Tahiti. So what I did was, this is my fighter mentality, just glue it. So I put super glue on it and makeup to pass the medicals. And then the moment I got in there, it reopened right away, and it doesn't look good for the judges. So I was so pissed, but then I couldn't talk about it because you're supposed to fight in good faith. That's part of your contract. Like, you're okay to fight. But I was like, damn it, I have to keep that to myself because otherwise it looks like an excuse. And that's one of the things you have to deal with as a fighter. So yeah, that created a bigger issue for me because I'm like, the one way that I know how to make money, which is beating the shit out of people, I couldn't,
Yeah.
because that cut was so deep that the doctor said if I get hit there, it can affect my eyesight. And I love fighting, but I also love seeing. So I had to make a decision. And I have to sit out for a little longer than I should have. But now that everything is, they had, thank you to BYB, they had a plastic surgeon on site. He took care of it. You can barely see it. Um, so we're good now. It healed very well. I took the time out because I have to make a decision. Of course, having two eyes is great. So I decided to just stay out and come back and, take the time out.
Before I get to this comment, a lot of people didn't even really, other than BYB, they didn't really resonate with the sport. And I think it really should. I thought it was one of your best fights in a long time. And I mean, because you just starched her, and that was Medina. Take me through that moment. What was it like facing Monica Medina? And were you surprised that the fight's outcome was so quick?
I did not face Monica Medina that night at all. That was the thing that people don't understand. It looks like one of my best performances, right? I look like I got my shit together. No, I didn't train. I was crying. I was living out of my car. Every now and then I had a friend that would let me stay at her place. I had nothing else. Life has beat the living shit out of me. There's nothing any other person could have done to me to stop me that night. I didn't fight Medina that night at all. She didn't count. That's why you see me when I'm in the corner with my hands here, because she didn't count. That's when I found out cutting weight for that fight. I was 27 pounds over 8 days before the fight. And one of my best friends who lives in New Orleans told me, I know your opponent. She has support. She has a beautiful wife. She has a beautiful family. She has a great gym. She lives here. And you're overweight. You're not training. You should cancel this fight. I don't want to see you get hurt. And then I remember when she said that, I'm in my car, and I told her, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad she's got all of that. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, she's gonna fucking need it. And I just hang up, and I just went back to this gym that I didn't want to go to because I hated the owner. And I just lost 27 pounds in like 8 days. For my weight class, it's a lot. And I just did that. And then the fight day, I didn't realize I had a dependency on alcohol. So when I was cutting the weight, I was going to withdraw. So I'm warming up. I can't see. I'm hallucinating. I'm tripping over my feet. I can't figure anything out. I'm like, something is wrong. So I Googled it. And apparently alcohol withdrawal will do that to you, which it doesn't get talked to a lot. You know, people think drugs is heroin and crack. And alcohol is the worst drug in the world. And it will fucking kill you. So I'm there warming up. I can't get my width. I can't recover. And then I told someone that I knew, I'm like, you remember the bottle of vodka that you got for after the fight? He goes, yeah, I said that it's the hotel. I'm like, I need you to go get it. I needed to drink half a bottle of vodka just to get in the ring.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
did, just so that I can get myself back in, because the dependency was so high and I had no idea. And nobody talks about this stuff. But if I would have talked about it beforehand, it would have looked like an excuse if I lost. So I have to keep that under grabs. So when I walk out there, that's why I have my hands here, because I was like, I have one thing in front of me, and it's not Medina, it's me. I don't care about Medina anymore. She no longer exists.
It's dope. You know, I know one other fighter who used to fight, who I fought predominantly his whole career for Bellator, and you know him just like I do, and that's Dave Caveman Rickles. You know, he struggled with a lot of self-depression and different things, and you know, a lot of people didn't understand the end of his career when he would chug a half a fifth of Jameson just to walk out to the ring. And it was like you said, he wasn't fighting his opponent, he was fighting himself.
Yes.
So how do we got to now that we got past Monica Medina, you realize the struggles. So we have a brand new champ that the bare knuckle world truly hasn't seen sitting in front of us, don't we? As far as abilities, capabilities, and mental stability.
That is absolutely true. I have now actually fought as Helen Peralta. That day, it was just me against myself. It was just like, after all of that weight cut was so terrible. So that's a lot of weight, 27 pounds in like 8 days in New Orleans. I was here in the Midwest where it's cold. I go to New Orleans, the humidity was like 80%. It was cold over here. I go down there, I start moving, and I'm like, oh, I am so tired. I can't. It was so bad. There was somebody helping me cut weight, and she was like, "You need medical attention." I'm like, "You're not wrong, but we're not calling anybody. If you call anybody, you're not my friend anymore. I need you to help me. I need you to go to the pharmacy, and I need you to get me 20 pounds of salt and 4 bottles of green alcohol, and we can talk after this. But I need you to do this for me." I'm like, if I don't make weight, I'm retiring. This is all. This is do it or do or die. And whenever I find myself in that position, I always rise to the top.
Yeah.
Because
And
once you're
you
on the bottom, there's no other place to go.
go.
It's just up.
Well, you know, and that's how it was for you and you know other aspects of the sport, you know, but you keep finding a way to find yourself back up to the top. And I think that's what I truly admire about you the most, Helen, is because a lot of people, like you said, would quit, give up. AJ easily says, your mental strength is one of the best improvements I've seen in you. The truth gives you power. What would you like to say to Coach AJ Easley?
Man, I appreciate that he can recognize that. You know, in the world we live in, it's all about likes and social media, what's trending, and reality goes completely untouched. Most people don't even know what's real anymore. You can create
No.
an AI personality and people won't know if that's really you because there's no connection. The attention span is like less than a quarter of a second now. It used to be 5 seconds, now it's like a quarter of a second attention span where people are actually being able to see what's on the other side. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're more, it's AJ's a great guy. One of my brothers, he's a great friend of Larry Holmes. They call him Little Holmes. He says, myself will work tonight. He says, hello, Don and Champion Helen. Good evening. Nice to see you all. He's out of Canada. There's going to be a lot of Canadians on here because a lot of Canadians, for some reason, like me. Another brother of mine from boxing, I believe he may be from either New Mexico or New Jersey. I could be wrong. His name's Steve Schroeder. He says, Don, you look good. Oh, you back feeling good, my brother? No, I'm not feeling good. It's just I'm not missing an interview with Helen Peralta, bro. You can't get me to miss an interview with her. And the one and only, one of the greatest cut women in the history of bare knuckle. Hey, from across the pond. Hope you're all well. And that's from Sammy Morris. Sammy, you're a tremendous cut lady. And have you ever met Sammy, Helen?
No, I have not.
She's our cut woman overseas. So when you go overseas,
Oh, I
you'll be
can't wait
doing.
to fight overseas.
Yeah, she's awesome though. She's probably one of the best in the business. My adopted grandfather, well, my grandfather, I shouldn't say adopted, but he says hi to everybody, and then Sammy says champ mentality. I agree with that champ mentality because like I said, I talked to your coaches a little over a year ago. I know where Helen Peralta was at because I care about you. You're my friend. I check in on my friends. I love what they've done for you, and I love what you've done for yourself. What does it mean now for you to get this opportunity at a second Police Gazette World BYB Championship belt? This is a tremendous opportunity for you. It's vacated. You got a chip on your shoulder because I'm like you. I think the headbutt was intentional, but now you got an opportunity to show the world. But what does this truly mean to Helen Peralta behind closed doors?
Ironically enough, it doesn't mean much to me as my legacy as a fighter. What I really want to be is a motivational speaker. It's just one more cool story to go with it. It's just like one more cool story, one more thing that you can do if you really want to do something, because that's the thing. Most people, they half-ass their entire life and then wonder why they don't have what they want. But you're half-assing it. When you become single focused and you're one track minded on one thing, if you really give it 100%, you'll get it. There's no science here. There's not a special sauce. If you give it 100%, you'll get it. So that's what it means to me. Just another opportunity to tell people that no matter where you're at, you can always come back up. Because part of my training camp for this one, and I'll fucking say it, I was going to save it for after the fight, but I'm going to give this to you because your back hurt, you're wearing a, I see what you're wearing, and you're
I
talking to
just
me
had
right now.
surgery. Yeah,
I know.
they
So
did.
you
Yeah,
deserve this. I was gonna save it for after the fight, but like half of my training camp, I was in rehab for 30 days, inpatient,
I'm
and now I'm
proud of you.
here.
I'm proud of you because part of getting better is admitting and sharing. And most of my 41 years in this industry has been helping people with struggles, helping people get off their knees, helping people create something in their life. And what you just said right now just lit my heart up because you're a tremendous warrior, but you're an even better friend. And I like the Helen Peralta that's sitting in front of me today compared to the Helen Peralta that was sitting in front of me in 2011, 2012. You're just a class act, my friend. You've come a long way, and I'm just so very proud of you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to start the questioning off with Steve. We'll be right back.
BYB returns to Denver for a night of hard-hitting action Saturday, February 22nd at the Stockyards Event Center for BYB 37, Denver Brawl 4. The main event will feature two of BYB's most explosive fighters. When the champ, Harry the Hitman Gigliotti, defends his BYB men's super lightweight title against undefeated John Bernard. In the co-main event, BYB Featherweight champion Helen Peralta will look to become BYB's first two-division women's champion when she faces Brazil's Lailani Mota for the vacant BYB Super Featherweight Championship. Plus, undefeated former BYB middleweight champion Sam the Caveman Liera returns to the Trigon in a rematch with one of the toughest, meanest fighters in the sport, Ryan Jett. Catch these matchups and more. Visit BYBExtreme.com today for tickets and information.
Such a dope card. You know, I'm so looking forward to this. Steve, I'm gonna let you have your way with the champ for a minute. You go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you doing this show, Don. You know, with all you've been through, it's, you know, and like you said, it's because of Helen, you know, that you wanted to come on and do this. So Helen, I got a couple questions for you. Tell me about this. You know, you wanting to be a motivational speaker and telling people your story.
Well, I've been through a lot, you know, and I have so many excuses to be a fuck up. But I feel like too many people let what happened to them in their past define who they are. And there's no, you know, there's not enough talk about, you have people that are motivational speaker, but they're like millionaires or billionaires, and they're like, oh yeah, keep going, no days off, blah blah blah. That's hot air. That shit don't matter to me. That you're telling me something when you're all the way up here, like, well, you know, when you're at the top, it's fucking, you're cruising up there. You know, I've been at the bottom most of my life. I fall down so many times I couldn't tell you the number, but I refuse to stay down there. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, yeah, fine. Like, if you fall down a lot, doesn't mean you're messing up. You're messing up if you stay there. And I feel like my story will be able to let people know that, yeah, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up and the intention in which you get back up, finding a reason to be here, finding a reason to be who you are and get better and not blame other people for your problems. Because, like, oh, yeah, why don't you have a job? Well, they're not hiring. So then open your own fucking business, you know, like just find a way, because there's always a way. And sometimes the only way out is forward. So if everything in front of you sucks and you have no other way out, then just go forward. There's no other way out than go forward. Don't say there's no way out. There's one way out. You're just regretting the work that it's going to take to get there.
Yeah.
I like that, bro. That's a good question, homie, because, you know, I'm a prime example. I could quit, but what am I going to gain from it? You know, one of the greatest things in my life that ever happened to me. Yeah, I love all the Hall of Fames that I'm in, but the National Boxing Hall of Fame was probably the greatest one, next to the MAM Hall of Fame and the South African International. But if I would have gave up, I never would have got into them. You know, when the nights that I had to shoot for piss poor promotions and work for piss poor promoters, and Helen's been there with me. We've all worked this crappy circuit all the way up to the top. And I'm glad you asked for that question, bro, because the way you do it is the intellect towards our guests and the fighters. There's more to them than somebody that steps into a Trigon. There's more to them than somebody that just goes to the gym 6 hours a day, 4 days, 5 days a week. And everybody wants to come on a show and go, what did you do wrong your last fight? What are you going to do? Man, and even Helen knows, I was joking around. I'm transparent. I don't care who hears what I got to say about the soccer mom. I'm just honest about everything, because my grandfather taught me, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember the lie. So, you know what? If I get up in their feelings, that's their problem. I live my life the way I want to live my life, because at the end of the day, I have to answer for every mistake that I make. The same with Steve, the same with you, Helen. But this is a beautiful opportunity for us, Steve. Go ahead and finish the rest of your questions, because I'm so.
And this is all new to me, Don. What Helen was talking about with her last fight. I had not known that she was, you know, sleeping in her car, and you know, I didn't know that. You know, so how do you go from a year ago sleeping in your car to, becoming a two-time champ?
Well, easy, because like you can't go any lower than that. I can only go up. So it makes it a lot easier. There's no other way, you know.
Yeah.
I got lucky that I was teaching a women's only class, and one of the girls that used to come to my class, it was one day, because it was dangerous in Rockford, Illinois. I remember one day I was sleeping in a parking lot, and this guy knocked on the door, and he used to go to the gym I was going to. And he goes, "What are you doing? I seen your car park here, and it's the worst is spread. And that's this girl that sleeps here. You should not sleep here." And he gave me $100 to leave
Yeah.
this parking lot today. Like he was concerned for my well being. And then I messaged this lady, and then all of a sudden she invited me to her house with her daughter and her husband, and we became just good friends. And then I had a safe place to stay, because I put a lot of good energy out in the universe, and I do believe in energy. I think what you put out is what you get back. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I had people helping me to get there all the way through, especially when I was cutting all that weight in 1 week. It was crazy, But when you hit that rock bottom, I never made any excuses. I was embarrassed to talk about it. I'm looking at everybody posting stuff, and I was like, I don't have anything to post. I'm not even training. I went through a major depression. I lost my best friend. I had another case open where I was like the main suspect, and I didn't fucking know. I didn't do. I always say I didn't do it. And then I had a friend that was a police informant that was trying to set me up for it. So it's one of the people that were closest to me trying to set me up, go to jail forever. Like it was just terrible, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I could not think about my fight. So then when all this started boiling over, I'm like, I know there's a snake in the grass, but like, who is this person? It's always the nice guy. That's what I learned. And then when I identified who it was, I was like, fuck, this is going to be tough. But then like I was already so low, even though nobody knew about it. You look at my social media, I treat social media the way it's supposed to be treated. It's not real. People just go out there and
No.
vomit their thoughts and then fuck off. And everybody's competing for something, trying to look happy even when they're not. So I play their game and then I log off because it's not who I am. But in the core of who I am, I know what's important to me, and that was not life. So I knew that the only way I could go from where I was up. And most of the work had nothing to do with 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's get more sparring. Let's get a new coach. It had nothing to do with that. I just had to get this in check because I am the best bare knuckle fighter in the fucking world, 125 and 130 pounds, and 140 and 145. So I didn't need to learn how to fight. I just needed to get this in check. And I just worked on that.
Let's
Yeah.
get it. Let's get it. That's what I'm saying, Helen. Let's get it. You just made my night. See, well, because, bro, you could take what she's going through and take what I'm going through, basically the same kind of walk, because it jacks with your head. And if you can't get your head right, you're not going to be in the game. And I feel sorry. I feel sorry for Mota. I'm sorry. Lalani Mota, I feel sorry for you come February 22nd. I really do. Go ahead, brother.
Helen, I can ask you questions all night. How focused are you now? How motivated are you? What gets you up out of bed every morning to get this second title?
Well, now it's different. Now I'm not where I was for my last fight. My last fight was like the worst training camp I ever had in my life. Now that after I went through all of that, I went to rehab for 30 days. Part of my training camp for this fight was going to rehab. It gets crazy. And I'm on AA and I have to make calls every day and I have a sponsor. And, now it's just not about how much life sucks. It's just about how much there is to experience in life besides yourself. Like, we get caught up in ourselves most of the time and we forget that there's so much more there in the world to enjoy. The fact that you're alive, that you're free, that you live in the best motherfucking country in the world, the United States. Don't tell me any fucking different because I won't take it. And you wake up every day here. It doesn't matter who you are. You can have a steak dinner, you can be as poor as you can be, and you can just make things happen here. And I have the privilege to live here. And to be free and not incarcerated, which I could be, and to wake up every day and make the decision. The day is not over when you wake up and you feel sorry for yourself. The day is over when you decide not to do anything about it. So my motivation now is different. I want the people who love me, the people who show me that they were gonna be there for me after everything I went through. I want to make them proud. I want to make them happy. I want them to come to my fight and know that no matter what, we're fucking celebrating at the end of the night.
That's what I'm saying.
With water, right?
Questionable.
Hey, I want to jump in here real quick, Steve, because I got to get to this question. This was a really cool question. AJ Easley says, "What was your motivation to stay sober? Is your heart still in cooking?"
Oh, my heart is definitely cooking. I cook all of my
Always.
meals. Yeah, because it's otherwise it's hard. And then to get sober, I had to. Like, people don't understand. The amount of alcohol I was drinking was so high that if I didn't drink, I will hallucinate full interactions, like things coming at me, people talking to me, not being able to sleep. It was at a point that it was just, I was so depressed, like I lost my best friend and then I had this case going on. I'm like the number one suspect. I know I didn't do it, but like I have a friend that's a police informant and all this thing just going on and on in the background, not being able to talk about it because it was an open case. It was insane. All I was doing was just drinking vodka, not even water, and eating cheese, like to stay alive. So it was such a huge amount that I needed medical attention. Like I was on so many medications just so that I can not drink while I was in um the facility, Rosecrans. Shout out to E Unit. That was my unit there. And it was crazy. Like my heart rate would go so up. So I mean, alcohol is the only drug that you cannot detox on your own. It will kill you. You can detox from anything else on your own. You will have a terrible time. It's horrible. You have impulses. People might have to tie you down to the bed, but alcohol will fucking kill you. And people don't know that. It doesn't get talked about it enough. And it's so easy because my drug of choice is on every corner here. I can DoorDash it right now if I wanted it. If you're on heroin, you need to know people to get it. It's different with alcohol, and there's something that people don't talk about it. So I remember when I left the facility, and they're like, "Oh, you have a fight coming." I'm like, "I know," but but it's completely different. It's not talk about it enough, and I always thought like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait until after the fight to tell the story." But seeing Don showing up here, even after everything he's going through, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll throw it in there.
Yeah. Well, because we're not quitters, man. I'm not a quitter. They may say things about us that, I mean, hell, they've already told me I would be dead multitudes of times. I apologize for that technical glitch a second ago. I forgot I'm kind of wired tonight because I broke my other one. So I kind of yanked down everything and it got thrown offline. But thank God I was still able to make a save. I want to get to this one, because AJ already said. Coach Anthony Cruz says Helen Peralta is the best. He said, exactly, if you give a 100%, you will get it. Helen always brings it. See, this is a thing that I've noticed across the country when you come on my show. There's a lot of coaches that come on here that know you, that believe in you, that have seen this new transition. The world is up for Helen Peralta right now. And I think it's going to be one of the greatest opportunities ahead of you, in the last 10 years. What does it truly mean away from the sport, away from everybody that you know, when you get that downtime? How proud is Helen Peralta of being able to pick her life back up, create what she wanted to do, and now be back on top again?
Unfortunately, I'm still working on myself. So I'm still working on the negative talks that we all do. You're trying to go to sleep. You're supposed to think about the things that you're grateful for so you can fall asleep easier. I never feel like I'm done. I never feel like I'm done. So instead, I'm starting thinking about the things I haven't accomplished, which is, a mindset that I'm working on fixing. I already recognize the problem and I definitely want to fix it. But to me, it doesn't feel like much just yet. I feel like there's so much more to do for me spiritually. mostly spiritually, nothing to do with skills. Because in reality, I don't think, I mean, with the things I've been through, I don't think one person can hold me down. You have to staple me to the ground for me not to get back up. Like, that's not something I'm concerned about. But yes, I am proud of what I have accomplished, but most of the time it doesn't feel like an accomplishment. To me, it just feels like, well, that's what you were supposed to do. And you're supposed to do a lot more. And I feel like there's so much more to do than what I had accomplished. I don't rest on my laurels like some people tend to do that. For me, I feel like I've done nothing. That fight with Medina, yeah, you watch the fight. It looks great. It looks like I got my shit together, but I know the truth. I was the opposite of getting your shit together that night. I was drunk for that fight, like whatever. I'm glad I look good. I like it makes me shine, but the truth of the matter, that's not who I am. That was just me fighting myself. They didn't even think about the girl. They didn't have any game plan. I was just there, just throwing haymakers after haymaker because I know one of them was gonna catch her. Because I had so much anger and so much frustration in me that it would have taken a brick wall for me not to go through it.
Man, I love the path that you're creating. Go ahead, Steve. I just wanted to add because she's just badass. And like Anthony Cruz says, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
100%.
You got to. I mean, nobody gives a crap about excuses. We don't even believe our own excuses. But go ahead, brother, because I love where you're going on tonight's show.
Yeah. I want to know. I want to know how you go to bed at night and you're dreaming about this fight over and over. Well, how do you see it going? Differently from the last time, and how do you see the fight going? What do you see yourself
Actually, I
doing?
haven't even looked at her fight. I haven't even thought about the fight against her because, again, I'm still working on myself. They only I have a nightmare every night. It's like I show up and like I forgot what weigh-ins was, and I'm 20 pounds over, and they're like, "How can you be 20 pounds over?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry," and that's my nightmare. The fight itself, I'm not concerned with because the thing is, I have a lot of respect for Mota, and nothing to do with what she has accomplished as a fighter. Because now that I'm in a different space in my life and psychologically, I feel like I have evolved mentally. I can see beyond the fighter. I can see beyond the person. And I can see she's going through a lot. She also has something to prove. She also has that grit. So I don't see this as an easy fight. Every fight is bare knuckle. Fuck, it's dangerous. Bottom line. So I'm never thinking like, oh, I got this in the bag. So I know she has the energy and she's there, but I don't think about her. I haven't had a time to think about her because I had so much more work to do on myself. And I feel like a lot of fighters make that mistake. They focus so much on their opponent that they forgot themselves. And then they show up and they're not there because all they know is their opponent. So their opponent, they enhance their opponent by giving all that attention to them. I put the attention on myself. I said that before the fight with Medina. They asked me, well, what's your game plan? I'm like, I don't have a game plan for her because I didn't know she was going to be here today. It just happened that she didn't get injured and that she's here. What if they changed my opponent fight week? So I spent all this time, I wasted it concentrating
Yeah.
on Mota. I don't concentrate on them because I have so much more work to do on myself that I feel like the time is better spent if I just focus on the things that I know I have to focus on because I can't control my opponent. I can't control what she does, but I can control what I fucking do. And I know exactly what I want to do to her.
Right. And how is your weight? How is your training for your weight? So you don't
Yeah,
show up
it's
20 pounds.
no, it's 130. This one is a 130, so it makes it a lot easier. Before it was a 120. So I'm the champion at 125. So this fight's at 130, which makes it a lot easier. But
Right.
not only that, I actually wanted to fight. The person I called out after my last fight was the champion at 135. Patty Waters, where you at, bitch? She keeps running. She's on her bike somewhere. Somebody needs to stop her before her legs waste away. And then I wanted to fight the champion at 140, KK. That's her name, I think. But she
Yeah.
said she needed more time to train. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what she said. But there was a lot of people who fell through. I had a
Yeah.
lot of other people to fight. They didn't want to fight. It's bare knuckle boxing. I don't think the weight matters. So I will fight at 125, 130, 135, 140, 145. I don't think it makes that much of a difference when it comes to bare knuckle because it's not wrestling involved. Like you don't have to like take people down. So
Right.
I'm not concerned with that. Actually the higher weight class the better. I love eating. It's like one of the things that I just. I'm a professional chef.
Anyone can get the smoke, huh?
Oh yeah, no,
And
I don't care. If I don't, I feel like if I don't have to cut weight, even better. I don't care about like fighting as slow as possible to have an advantage. I don't care about that.
Yeah. What kind of foods you eat like a week before? I mean, we're almost a week out.
Well, today, as I might gross you out. So today, all I had earlier today was chicken feet. So my cousin cooked chicken feet for the dogs as a treat, but it's full of collagen. You can see the water is cooked on. It's full of
Yeah.
collagen. So it's like this is instead of taking a pill with collagen. So I had like 3 of those. Tonight I'm supposed to have I have black rice, quinoa, and veggie stir fried with a poached egg. So that's what I'm gonna have after this. It's just the game went on too long. I was supposed to do 15 rounds. I ended up doing 30 because, you feel, especially as the fight gets closer, you're like, oh, I want to keep going. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I have an interview. So I rushed over. Yeah. But today I'm going to have quinoa stir fried with a poached egg. And that's going
Is
to be
someone
my
helping
dinner.
you with your health?
What was that?
Is someone helping you with your health and giving you what to eat and like helping you before the fight?
Not this time. I had that before. This time I'm just doing it on my own, but because I've done it so many times, and I also have helped older people when I have friends that have fights coming up. I like to log what they do because part of what I want to do after I retire, I want to be involved with martial arts.
Yeah.
I want to be involved with the weight cutting and rehydration. I want to have a gym. I want to have a sports management company because I've been through so much shit in the sport. The sport is so fucking dirty, and I can help so other people not go through the same shit that I went through. So those are the things I want to do after. So I have enough information to know how to do it.
Right.
still,
Yeah.
my brother Nate Wren says, I got to get back because there's a lot of comments between Sammy and AJ. Nate Wren says my favorite fight was when she beat Christine. He says, but Helen Peralta is priceless. My brother Nate Wren, he's a 3-time Hall of Fame photographer. He's also a professional boxer. He actually was on one of my friends' podcasts last night to get interviewed. He's the youngest Hall of Famer, 3-time Hall of Famer in the history of the Hall of Fame. He's 34 years old and he's a 3-time Hall of Famer. And I think that's absolutely tremendous. And just had Bill Clancy, another Hall of Famer, try to call me, but I ain't talking to you on the show. AJ easily says this, and I'll let you get back to you in a second, Steve. He says the self-improvement journey you're on is revealing so much growth. I respect your growth, but I know you have more work to do. Well, you know what, Coach? This is a part where I kind of jump in here because you and I both know she'll come on here and she'll say what she has to say, but she's not going to tell you everything. You know, that's the key to your stable. That's the key to her stable. You know, if she comes on here and divulges everything, then what's she going to hide? You know,
Yeah.
and I love you, Coach. That was a great try, but you're not going to get it, AJ. I love you, bro, but you're not going to
Yeah.
get that
Well, he's not
information.
100% wrong. We all have to, the work is never done. You can work on yourself all you want, but unless you settle, because that's the difference. If you have settled for a ceiling, you can get there. I'm never going to get there because I don't fucking settle. That ceiling is always going to keep rising and rising and rising, and I'm never going to get there. I'm going to be working on it my whole life.
Yeah, a great brother of mine from Canada. I told you I have a lot of Canadian friends. You know, the show is seen in I think 31 different countries, but Canada just seems to love me. He was Gordie Hell's godson. He says, "This is one super interesting show tonight, y'all. Everyone is being schooled right now. Thank you, Helen."
No, thank you.
Hey, Helen tells the truth, bro. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you don't want the truth, don't ask Helen, because Helen will tell you. But Steve, go ahead, bro, and then I'm gonna kind of wrap things up here in a second.
Yeah. No, I was just reading Tommy Turner's um post. What's up, Tommy? Um this is a great card that's coming up. You're the co-main event. And I'm trying to figure out, Don, how being a two-time, and she's calling out all these other weight classes, after she gets her second, she could be a three-time champ.
She could be a four-time champ. I believe in Helen.
Champ. Yeah.
I believe in Helen Peralta. Here's the reason why. And a lot of people are going to say, well, we've heard this. And you're going to hear it again. I met Helen before I actually met Christine Ferea. And, and then I got Christine that fight with Rachel Ostovich. That was years ago. I've always believed in Helen. Helen's always been a quiet one. I've always been afraid of her when she gets mad because you don't know who she's going to punch or who she's going to yell at. But am I lying? It's the truth. But the lady sitting in front of me today is not the same lady from all those years ago. Helen, I'm glad you came on my show and opened up your heart like that, because I've always thought you were a beautiful soul. I always knew you were a great fighter, but now you get to show the fucking world, who Helen Peralta is in the clean version. I'm so stoked and pumped for this fight. I think this may take fight of the night, because I know what Helen's capable of, and a clean Helen Peralta. Man, you better watch out, Mota. You better go get some of that what do you call that? That wax and some of them diamonds to go with the Mota, because
I'm staying away from the clinch.
a tremendous a tremendous aspect. And my brother, Mr. Tommy Turner, says, I don't know if I'm part of BYB anymore, but always wish you all the best. Jigliotti's watching. Tommy Turner's on here. Tommy, you'll get there, bro. I'll give you a call after the show tonight, and we'll talk, brother. But Sammy Morris says, big up to all the Hall of Famers. Hell, Sammy, I got more rings than I do fingers, and I don't even wear them. But the crazy thing about it is, you work your entire life to get to these moments, Helen. Now, let's say you're sitting in your living room right now, and Greg or Mike or Mel, whoever called you, and offered you this fight. You're clean, you're ready. What does this mean to Helen Peralta, the woman, not the fighter? What does this mean to the intent on your walk and your purpose?
Yeah, for me, I don't see it like before. I used to think, oh yeah, this girl want to fight, I'm gonna fuck her up. Like it was like more like that superficial mentality. Now to me, it's like a spiritual experience. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. I just want to test myself against the universe. I know that I'm on the right track. So it's an opportunity for me to know who I really am. Because once the referee says go, you can have all the ideas, you can have all the excuses, all the hype, all the cool friends from whatever, and all the champions behind your back. It's just between you and that person, or between you and yourself. And then you're about to find out. It's the realest place in the universe. Once you're there, nobody can help you. You find out real quick whether or not what you think is right or wrong. So I see it as an opportunity for growth, as an opportunity to find out who I really am. It's a shortcut to evolution. That's what it is to me. It's a shortcut to human evolution. When you find yourself in a place that none of the stuff that you say, the words don't matter. All that matters is your actions, and you have to couple that with your ability to adapt to the specific situation at the time that is happening. Not in the future, not in the past. Maybe you're really good with a ruler and a compass and a calculator. No, there's no time for that. It's instant. What can you do in that specific moment? Can you be in the moment? Or maybe you cannot. And that's what for me, it's just an opportunity for me to find out where I'm at in life so that I can make the adjustments that it requires of me in order to move up.
There's no way I'm gonna be able to get Helen. Everybody's loving on you, and homie, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get through all these comments. So I'm just gonna fly real quick. Brian Halderson says, "Takes work to prove your work." Gordy Simpson says, "You will be a 5-time champ." Paul Driscoll says, "I like Helen." Gordy says, "The world is hers, is yours, girl. Run, Forrest, run."
Forrest Gump. I like
I,
that.
AJ says I still rock with Christine, but I can respect Helen at the same time. I feel you, Coach. Um, you know, but they're still going to have to face each other one day down the road.
I
You
hope so.
know,
I think it'll be great, actually. Like, I would feel weird if like retire and she retires and we never did it. Like, it would just feel like something is missing. It's nothing to
yeah,
for me. Like, yeah, I love the fans and I want the fans to have what they want, which they all wanted. But at the same time, in the back of my head, there would be always that question: what would have happened? Because to be honest, I don't know what would have happened. Maybe she'll knock me out in the first 10 seconds. I don't know. But like, I am more interested in knowing that than I am on what people are gonna say about it. Because I am way beyond what people think. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I care about
well,
my own growth as a human being.
yeah, because you have to put it in. You know, everybody don't understand. In this industry, you have to close a chapter, and that's a chapter that just hasn't been closed, and we don't know if it will. You know, I'm going to jump real quick because we're about 9 minutes out from wrapping things up, but I think February 22nd will be the revealing of the new Helen Peralta. I think the world of bare knuckle is going to get a surprising, elegant shock. I think that they're going to see a tremendous fight between two great warriors. But if you don't get your tickets at bybtickets.com, you're not going to be able to get into the Stockyards. You're not going to be able to be in the event and see the fight. You know, from what I heard, the tickets are almost sold out. So if you're in Denver, BYB 37, February 22nd, get your tickets at bybtickets.com or byb.com. Or if you can go to the BYB page on Facebook or any social media, they have links to get the tickets. I'm sure Helen has them on her page. But you're going to see one of the greatest fight cards in BYB history this year. I think maybe even better than last year. I think this card is going to be stellar because my boy Harrison Gigliotti's on the card. He's fighting
Nick,
John
hey,
Bernard.
buddy.
What I think was great, they both came on my show and then they both went and did a show together because there was so much respect between these two warriors. I think the sport is finally getting it, but bare knuckle had to bring that aspect to these warriors because I think it's cool when fighters appreciate each other and realize it's just a job. Let's shake each other's hand before and after the fight. But when that cage door or we're in the ring, I'm beating the crap out of you, bro. I'm sorry, but you ain't gonna have no freaking teeth when I'm done. But Helen, Nate Wren says I like Helen Peralta so much more. Helen is so humble, nice, and hilarious. I can't say the same about very many people. You know, would you say that's a new attribute to you, changing your life, Helen?
Yeah, not only that, like a lot of people try it. Like, I can only be myself. Everybody else is taken. And that's just something that I feel like is missing in most people. It's like they don't understand that everyone else is taken. Just be yourself, you know. So I am where I am. And sometimes I'm on the bottom, but I never say that I'm not. I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm at the bottom. I'll see you on the top. I'm walking up the stairs, you know, like, and it is what it is. It makes you more human. It makes you more real. And, you know, in this world now, it's just all like alternative fact and alternative reality and AIs. You don't know what's real anymore. I can only control what I can do. You know, and being myself was the only thing I got. And you know, and it means so much more to me. I'm not trying to impress anybody here. I couldn't give less of a shit about that because I have gone through so much that I realized was really important. And it's just your own happiness. I am really fucking happy right now. So like everything else to me, it just goes by. It's just a shoulder roll for me. That you know, you're either on board or you're not. And that's fine with me either way. Everybody have their own journey. I cannot speed up your own evolution. So if you don't like me for whatever thought you have in your head because you like this girl and not the other girl, that's because you're not evolved enough. And evolution takes time. I'm not gonna get in the way of that. I'm not even mad at you. You know, so if you can see it and you can recognize it, thank you.
Amen. You know, I love it. We're going to take a quick commercial and we'll come back. We're going to wrap up. I'll be right back.
BYB returns to Denver for a night of hard-hitting action Saturday, February 22nd at the Stockyards Event Center for BYB 37, Denver Brawl 4. The main event will feature two of BYB's most explosive fighters. Win the champ, Harry The Hitman Gigliotti defends his BYB men's super lightweight title against undefeated John Bernard. In the co-main event, BYB Featherweight champion Helen Peralta will look to become BYB's first two-division women's champion when she faces Brazil's Lailani Mota for the vacant BYB Super Featherweight Championship. Plus, undefeated former BYB middleweight champion Sam the Caveman Liera returns to the Trigon in a rematch with one of the toughest, meanest fighters in the sport, Ryan Jett. Catch these matchups and more. Visit BYBExtreme.com today for tickets and information.
Wrap us up, brother man.
Yeah, so you're looking at yourself right now, Helen, in this camera. Motivational speaker, motivational speaking. What motivation are you telling yourself if you had to give yourself a speech right now, week away from the fight?
To motivate myself is I didn't realize how many people gave a fuck. You know, sometimes when you're so wrapped up in your own mind, and you know, you see that from people when times are hard, they're like, oh, you know, I don't have a job because they don't want to hire me because they're prejudiced or because of this. I'm where I am because of my ex-wife and the alimony. And you know, like they always find something else to blame. I was in a place that was really dark, and I came back up, but then at the same time, I realized how many people actually care about me that I was ignoring. I was completely focusing on the negativity as opposed to the positivity. So now every day when I wake up, instead of thinking of how many things are going wrong, I wake up thinking about how grateful I am for those people that are there for me, for those people who care. Like, you know, even you guys, even people like people who I don't even know, my fiance, my cousin. I just started to realize how many people care before that didn't exist to me. That's why I was in such a dark place. So that's my motivation. It's like how many people actually care about me. I went to a sauna with some friends because I'm back in Iowa visiting, and I haven't seen them in like 2 years. And I showed up there, and they're like older. You know, it's my sauna crew. They actually have a sauna, and they have a pond, and the husband, he takes a saw and carves a hole in the pond so I can get in. So after I went in and I told him I have a fight coming up because I do get in that hole a lot. He was like, Helen, we don't care who wins or loses. We just love you. And I remember saying that to a fighter before his fight. I was part of his entourage. And I said, listen, why are you so nervous? He said, Bo, what happened if I lose? I'm like, the people who love you, they're going to love you no matter what. And the
Yeah.
people who hate you, they don't fucking count. Why are you thinking about these people? Don't think about them. So my motivation is that the people who love me, the people who care about me, the people who root for me, win or lose, the fact that they're there, the fact that they're sending that positive energy, that motivates me.
Nice. We're going to be watching for sure. I'm really excited to watch this fight.
Yeah, you and me both. You know,
Yeah.
Helen, I know you like to talk shit. I don't know how if you're going to talk shit this fight, because I know you have a lot of respect for Mota, but you know how my show goes. It's weigh-in night. You're standing in front of your opponent. What thoughts go through Helen Peralta's head? What words come out of Helen Peralta's mouth?
Well, I don't speak Portuguese, so I might just have to flip her off.
I love you. That's why we homies. Oh, snap.
Everybody
I
knows
love
what
it.
this means.
Oh, yeah, that's universal. Oh, I love it, though. I mean, don't, Steve, is this your first time ever being on a show with Helen?
Yes, my first
Oh,
time.
Helen's a blast, bro. I told you she was going to be a blast. Helen's as real as they come. Uh, like my Sammy laughs, and then my other buddy from Canada says double bird exactly. You know,
Yeah.
what I think is so cool because out of the last half of my career, Helen's been the only one that I know that, and my other buddy, he laughed at it too. But Helen's the only one I ever know that's ever actually said what she wanted to say, whether you liked it or not. Uh, a lot of people claim to be that way, but Helen's one of the few that I know that is really that way. Nate Ren says, thank you for making my night, Helen Peralta. I think she's done that for all of us. You know, Helen, I think you're in a beautiful place. I am so stoked that you went and took better care of yourself. You're taking better care of yourself. But what I think is the most poignant thing, and everybody's missing, you did all of this greatness under the shield of dark. But now you're right here. You're right here. I can only imagine what is going to happen on February 22nd. Like I said it earlier, and I really meant it, because I know what you're like when you're on point, and I wouldn't want to step in the trigon with you. Not with you being the way you are now, because I know your coaches, your trainers. I know where you're at. I know what type of fighter you are. This is the opportunity for you to shine. Go take what's yours, my friend. Go do you. Because this is the greatest I've ever seen you physically, mentally, psychologically. You're on point. And I am just so proud of you, Helen. I think this is a great opportunity. Two great fighters are going to step in the trigon. Only one can walk out. And I'm sorry if BYB gets pissed off at me or anybody, but I gotta back the homie. I mean, the homie's been in my life forever. So let's go. You know, I can only do 1.5, but what's the other?
Well, it depends on where you put the half. You'll be fine.
But I do, because Helen, you've been in my life for so long. So that's the thing a lot of these people don't realize. When you've been in the industry, I've been in the industry for 41 years. I'm on multi-generational aspects, but there's very few, you know me, there's very few fighters that I cling to, that I appreciate, and you just happen to be one of them. So from me to you, go out there and show the world who the hell Helen Peralta is. Whether you win or lose, I don't give two shits. I mean, I know you do, but I just want the world to see who I appreciate, the warrior that you are, and the tremendous walk that you've built. You truly deserve this belt and many more to come. I think you found your home in bare knuckle. No, I really do. I think this is your true calling, and I think the world is going to recognize that after February 22nd and in the next year. I think you're just getting started, my friend.
I think so too. I want to keep, I'm very excited about it. The good thing about bare knuckle, it sounds weird, but it's easy. It's easy to train. It's easy on your body. There's none of that, all that joint manipulation from wrestling. That all my injuries before, most of my fight that I've lost, because freaking knees or something, or dislocated shoulder. It's just like, oh, surgery I didn't get. It's so much complicated. Bare knuckle boxing is one of the easiest sport, and I know it sounds weird because you see the cuts, but that's all superficial damage. It's not the same. Boxing with gloves, you're protecting your hand. People get like inside, brain aneurysms and stuff because of all the damage they take. People cannot tell when they're done because there's no damage. In bare knuckle, if you're losing, the referee's gonna notice and they're gonna call it, and you'll be fine. It's just you're swelled out for a week or two, and then you're ready to keep going on with your work. So I'm here to stay. That rush of walking out there and not knowing what's gonna happen is so exciting. There's no drug on the planet that can ever replace it. So I'm here to stay, and hopefully after this fight, I'm gonna avoid the clinch so I don't get headbutted again. I can keep. I want to be more active. I won the title 135. Patty Juarez, so stop running, girl. Where are you going? She just keeps running. I call her out. I call her out after my last fight. She didn't answer the call, and I'm pretty sure Mel contacted her several times. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but he didn't tell me not to say it. But she keeps fucking running. The other girl at 140, she said she needed more time to train. How much more fucking time do you need? Let's go.
Well, in all fairness, Juarez beat Medina, and then you beat the crap out of Medina. So I think Juarez is kind of a little afraid of you, don't you think? I mean, come on, girl. Well, but
I'm a
let's talk
nice
about the truth.
person.
No,
Come on.
no, hold up. Oh, yeah, you're a nice person, but let's be real. You weren't in that fight, but we seen the Medina fight. Whether you weren't there, you starched the girl. And the people that are going to have to face you, they don't forget that, bro. They're like, She smacked the crap out of Monica Medina and dropped her in the first part of the fight. I mean, I jumped up and dropped all my food and everything all over the floor. But I mean, let's face it, you got a lot of power and you're a precision fighter. So, I mean, let's face it, you might not see yourself that way, but we see you as a vicious beast in the Trigon. We know what you're capable of. And you're not going to disappoint us on the 22nd. But I got to give Steve some crap before we dip out of here. Gordy says, Steve, you haven't stopped smiling through the whole show, homie. Looks good on you, though. And then the next comment is, Steve is the luckiest guy in the world, being in the same on the same podcast with two all-time greats.
Gordy. Yes,
one was Nate, one was Gordy.
I'm happy. I'm happy to see Ellen in the ring again. Is basically what I'm smiling about, because I see her I'm excited, very excited for this card, Don. And the smiling is smiles. I'm happy for her as well. When you can go, be such down in the dumps and most people don't get out,
No.
Sleeping in your car, being an alcoholic, a lot of people, they stay down there, and Helen is just, doing what she's got to do to get, those steps to success, and those were all my smiles are coming from, because I'm proud of her,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I'll wrap this up with an expression that Kung Lee taught me. He said, Don, you sit in your car, you got this great big windshield. He goes, because you're supposed to always look forward. He says, but then when you look up, you got this rear view mirror. He said, but you're only supposed to look back in that rear view mirror when you second guess yourself, or you need to look back at a specific, place and time in your life to reiterate where you need to be. And when I started looking at life and projecting my life that way, like Helen is, always move forward. Don't let what falls down behind you keep you behind, because you can't. I mean, I could sit here and say I've had 3 cervical spine surgeries in 6 months. I could sit here and say I'm hurting, I'm crying, I should be on pain medicine in bed. But the world doesn't stop for us, nor does it stop for Helen. We have to get up and do what we got to do, whether we want to or fucking not. The bottom line is, Helen gets paid for fighting. She's not like she's going to Macy's or, some Chanel or whatever to go to work every day and collect a paycheck. She does what she does because this is who she is. She does what she does because this is what she loves. And now, the 22nd, February 22nd, BYB 37, the world is going to know. If they don't know already, they're going to know who the hell Helen Peralta is. And I can't wait for that day, because I know when she didn't get no press. I know when she didn't get no shine. And to see her get her day is the happiest day of my life. I'm so proud of you, Helen. You go and you show not just the BYB fans, but you show the world who the hell Helen Peralta is.
Thank you.
Oh,
Expect
you ain't
nothing
gotta
less
thank
than
me,
that.
Helen.
I
Nah,
have no other thing to do. And my schedule is
Nah.
completely cleared.
Hey, Steven, you got anything you want to say before we wrap it up, brother?
No, that just I'm glad you're back at it, Don, and keep doing what you do. And Helen, go for yours, get your belts, and call out everybody. Anybody can get it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Except for the
Yeah.
heavyweights.
Yeah, because you don't want to put that 27 pounds back on. I got one question before I do let you go, Helen. What would you like to say? Because, I mean, there's been some changes lately. we switched to BKB, but it's still going to be called The Brawls. We're now on Vice TV. We're going to be airing our shows on Vice. Vice just picked up a new, they're going to start airing sports programs on Vice. So things are rolling. But what would you like to say to the man and his partner, Mike Vasquez and Dada 5000? What would you like to say to those men for the creation of BYB and giving you the opportunity that you have today and moving forward?
I would say thank you, and thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me a platform. Thank you for the hype, because I know Medina was very well established within the promotion. Um, before I came in, that's why she was like, "Oh, you welcome to my house, Helen Peralta." That's what she said, and I was like, "Well, you forgot to pay the mortgage, bitch." But then, like, they allowed me to do and say what I wanted, and they're very impartial. I really appreciate that. Like, yeah, they were pushing Medina. They gave me the opportunity, but there was nobody, like, there was no favorism. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's a lot cleaner. Boxing, whether it's with gloves or without gloves, it's the dirtiest fucking sport on the planet. And the fact that they don't have that going on in BYB is admirable. And I'm really grateful for that. Even with this, every fight that they offered me, they were not easy fight. It was just Patty, the runner, the champion at 145. There was another girl at 125 who hurt her hand or whatever. Maybe her hair hurts or she got bichitis. I don't know if you guys are familiar with bichitis. Bichitis is the inflammation of the bitch muscle, and it happens to a lot of fighters when they get fight offers. So there was a lot of that going on, but they never try to give me like an easier fight or anything like that. I was always going up and going up. So I admire what they're doing, and I think they're on the right track.
Yeah, most definitely. And we're growing. I don't even know how many shows we have this year. It sucks that I've been sick and not been able to go, but you know what? One thing I will say about this promotion, once you're in the family, you're always in the family. You know, I love what they've created with Gigliotti, John Bernard, you. They're finally building those paths, standing behind the champions that truly deserve that push. Whether you come on my show, the Soccer Mom show, or the guys that can't even do a show, it doesn't matter because they're getting you out there. And that's the important message at the end of the day, is to get you out there, whether you're on, 2020, my show, or whatever. It doesn't matter, because you are what the people are paying to see. And what your ability brings to this promotion is tremendous. Homie, I'm just blessed that I get to have you on time and time again. I'm glad that we're friends in life, because I see how you treat people you ain't friends with, and I'm glad I'm on the good side. But
I'm working on it.
hey, you're doing a hell of a job. One last comment, and then I'm gonna let Steve wrap it up. Sammy Morris says, Helen, you are an inspiration, girl. I hope to see you over here in the UK sometime. Hey, she'll be there,
Thank you.
especially if she's a 5-time world champion. I'm gonna read one more, because this dude's, he's a handicapped adaptive athlete like me, and we're not handicapped, we're handy capable. He's a wheelchair boxer. His name's Charles the Professor Wilton. He says, I smile just being able to get hit in the face for a living. Don't we all,
Yeah.
brother? Don't we all?
Yes. Because you can always
Stephen,
hit back. That's the reward.
yeah, absolutely. Stephen, go ahead and take us home, brother.
Yes, sir. February 22nd, BYB 37, Denver, Colorado. The co-main event is right next to us. Helen, wow. I'm going to be watching. Everyone's going to be watching. It's Don, is this is this show going to be on Vice?
As far as I know, yeah.
Platforms?
It's been announced. Yes.
Yeah, so check it out. There's a bunch of different ways you're going to be able to watch it.
Yeah, the Fight Network, Fuse, Vice, and let's see, BN Sports. And then there's an app, and then there's a BKB TV app too, I believe, that they got out now. Just go to bybextreme.com. You'll find about 4 or 5 different ways to watch the fight. And if you don't watch it, then that's on you, because it's all free. So with that being said, Helen, thank you for coming on the show. Go out there, and show the world who in the hell Helen Peralta is and make me proud, homie. I can't wait. Go do
Let's
your thing,
go.
my friend.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me, and have a good night. Nice to meet you, Steve.
Nice to
Hey,
meet you, Hal.
before we let you go, I'm sorry, homie. Your sponsors. Do you have any sponsors you want to give a shout out before we kind of dip?
Yeah, shout out to anyone and everyone who gives a flying fuck. Thank you.
I love you, Helen.
You
You
know
rock,
who you
homie.
are. You know who you are. My sponsors don't care for me to mention their name. It's not going to change their business. They support me because they want me to do better and they know who I am as a person. Everything else is just trash talk.
I love it. Thank you so much, Helen. You have a
You guys,
great night. And like I said, homie, show the world. You got
I
this.
will.
All
Yeah,
right.
have a good night, guys.
You
Thanks,
too.
Hal. Good seeing you. Yeah. So
Oh man, isn't she the greatest?
it's very exciting fight card we put together here.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
You
like
know,
Sammy Morris says, only look back to see how far you've come. You know, and that is true, man. And it's like, but see, I didn't even. I'm friends with Helen. I didn't even know that she went through that.
yeah. Because I was at the fight and I didn't even know. Like
Yeah, like my boy said, Helen Peralta going around telling people the truth would be the greatest reality show of all time. Well,
yeah,
she's not sure. Hey, bro, she's always been that way. Um, the 14, 15 years that I've known her, she's always been that way. She just don't take no crap. But this is the first time I've ever seen her own up and admit and conquer her own demons. And I think that was a tremendous, part that she shared on the show. She said she shared it here because she felt that it needed to be. You know, I will tell you something. I'm very privileged and I feel very great. I know I don't have the greatest show in the world. Don't claim to. But when I interviewed Harry Gigliotti, John Bernard, and a lot of the people from BYB in the same divisions and weight classes, all came on. And then when I had John Bernard on my show, Harry Gigliotti, who's getting ready to fight February 22nd, BYB 37, came on the show, and then they went and did a show together. And I thought that was the greatest freaking thing because it's proving to these people that you don't have to be an asshole to be in the sport. Y'all can still be brothers. Go in there, handle your business, and then go eat dinner and have a beer together.
yeah,
My brother from Drayton, Canada says, great interview. My dime is on you, Helen. I think that's righteous because she made a huge impact. And like Sammy says, best promotion in the world, one big fight family. And it really is, and
where'd
I've
you
been
meet Helen first, Don? Do you remember?
I think it was way back in Invicta. It might even been before that, but I think it was like at Invicta, maybe 12 or 13, something like that.
Uh-huh.
I can't even remember. I met, but see, this is where a lot of people don't understand. Okay, I was one of the few photographers for Invicta. So Cyborg, Leslie Smith, Andrea KGB Lee, all of them, Julia Avila Shamonte, Doug Rowe, everybody came, Felice Arian, everybody came through Invicta. So I shot everybody's career, on that side. And then I got them, started getting them all in the UFC. And so it's like you even know from experience that Miranda Maverick's father, you know the story. When I said she was going to win the tournament and go to the UFC, he laughed at me. Didn't believe in me. He didn't believe in me when I told her she was going to become a fighter.
Yeah.
Nobody believed in me. But look where she's at now. She's number 12 in the world and continuing to rise. That's the problem with a lot of people. Sometimes I know on these shows I'm not supposed to say or pick a side, but I'm human too. But if I'm going to dedicate 41 years of my life, I should be able to say who I'm going to side with now and then. And if somebody doesn't like it, man, that's the cost of freedom.
Yeah.
Because you want to fight for freedom, I have the right to say what I want, but you also have the right to pull your fighters off my show at the same point. But The thing of it is, I've been rocking with Helen for a long time. And the same with Christine Ferea. Like I said, that was no bullshit. I got her a fight with Rachel Ostovich, but I knew Christine way back when she was an amateur kickboxer, in Muay Thai. So, I mean, I grew up with a lot of these people. They grew up with me, and I think it's great that we're all ending up in the bare knuckle realm because you know what? I really think bare knuckle is going to end up blowing up, bro, because the UFC's numbers are down, bare knuckle numbers are up. It's going to be really interesting because back in 2016, 2017, there was a lot of us at the top of the sport that said that MMA was going to fail by 2025 to 2028. Well, here we are, and their numbers are down. They're not as great as they used to be. But if you look at bare knuckle, it's thriving.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of hard work and takes one hell of a team, but it's getting done, whether it be here or over the pond. It's getting done. And I love Joe Brown, Sammy Morris, Liam Rocky Reese. I just love all these fighters that are coming into the promotion, all the employees that are coming into the promotion. Like Sammy says, one big freaking family. We got to keep it that way. That's where we met,
Yeah.
and we'll continue to be. Well, brother, I don't know what else we can tell these people about BYB 37 unless if they don't have their tickets, I don't think they're going to get a seat. But, you might as well check now and see if you can get them because the last 3 times have been sold out. So it's going to be
Fireworks.
a blast. Oh, yeah. Each card keeps getting better and better and better. But, I'm going to go ahead and roll us out on a commercial. Well, go ahead and tell your sponsors real quick, bro.
Yeah, so the Fighting News, follow us. Follow the Fighting News on all the platforms. The most content that we get is on Instagram and YouTube at the Fighting News. I've been doing this for quite some time. The Fighting News, every day I meet new people, new stories to tell. And, it's funny, Don. I've been doing this so long and going to so many amateur fights that I see somebody, I'm like, this kid's going to be special. Like, I just, it's so funny. I can pick them. You give me a lineup, I'll tell you which kid's going to make it, which one's not. And that's, it's like, it's like being a recruit for like a baseball team, you know when you see someone really special. And I could pick them out, and even in the bare knuckle, I when I see a lot of these fighters, I'm like wow, this kid's different, yeah, and the Fighting News goes on, thanks to your support, the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm just glad to be right next to you doing this, Don. Every time you got a new surgery, I always, pray for you, man. And and I know how much pain you're going through, and you're still doing this stuff where most people wouldn't. So,
Yeah, my doctor kind of got in my ass, and like most people don't even really know what I have. I'll tell you real quick. I had what they call a laminectomy, but I didn't really know they were doing that. And basically, what that means is they took off the top of my bone from C4 to T1. They took off the top of my spine and basically put rods and all that. But my spine is open, so that gives me a life expectancy of 10 to 13 years. Just having that surgery, but they've given me death sentences before, and I'm still here, so I don't really give a crap about that. But then my wife was cleaning me up, and we heard a loud pop, and it burned like hell. So I went back like that, and my whole neck had got concave. Where they did the fusion, collapsed completely into my neck. And part of the fusion is grinding into my shoulder here. So we already know I'm going to have another surgery. We just don't know when, if I'm going to make it through it. But you know what? I'm grateful. I got to be on this planet for 62 years. I've been with my wife for 43 years, and I have a beautiful 38-year-old son. and I have great friends, and I'm with great people. You know, I'm not going to look back and say I have regrets. If I was to die right now, you know, I'm technically an 11-time Hall of Famer. I technically got to live my dream. So why would I complain? You know, why would I cry? But you know, you mentioned something. I wouldn't have just got out of bed for any fighter though, bro. I wouldn't have. You know, you've had to make a difference in my life. You've had to be a part of my life, and I've had to care about you. And Helen Peralta has been in my life for a long freaking time. But I think honestly, just about any BYB fighter I would get up out of bed for right now because the love and the respect that they show me. And like Sammy says, she says, now look at it. It's huge and it's only going to get bigger. The most purest, rawest form of combat is taking over. And she says, yes, I love this. And then she says, Don is the Don. I only know how to be myself, Sammy. You know, not everybody likes me because I'm straightforward. I'm black and white. But I tell you what, you people across the pond, I love you because I'll go banter with you every day of the week. You guys are just awesome. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, the Brits are rude." No, they're not. They're just busting your chops. You just got to quit being a pussy. You know, Robert Hernandez just got on. He says the fight game changes week to week with every match. Nothing is ever set in stone when it comes to top fighters in the game. It's hard to go with fighters that we want to succeed. I agree and I disagree with you there, bro. Now, the only thing, now all genres, I'll agree with you, except with the exception of bare knuckle. Because bare knuckle, it only takes a punch. It only takes one punch, and the whole freaking thing has changed. The dirty clinch adds a whole new relevance to the sport where you can't do it in boxing, you can't do it in MMA, but you sure as hell can do it in bare knuckle, and it sure as hell makes that fight change on a dime. I mean, Steve, how many fights have you seen change on a dime in just like a split second?
Wow, you know, you played that clip just before. John Bernard got knocked down twice.
Yeah,
It,
and
it,
still
it,
came back.
it still came back. Yeah, so like, you know, you can't turn your back on any fighter. You know, because all it does is take one punch to turn the table. You know.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I hurt one of my brother's feelings about saying what's wrong with my spine and stuff. But you know what? I got to be honest with people. You know, I'm not gonna bullshit nobody. You know, I'll be honest. If I can get, you know, a little upset with me, but because he loves me. But if I can get a couple years, 2, 3 years out of where I'm at, I mean, I'm not a bitch, bro. I'm not gonna roll over and die, but I'm hurting. You know, and I don't take narcotics. I'm having to this time. Very few, but you know, there comes a point in time in life where you got to realize that, you know, some of the best parts of your life are behind you. And, you know, I am an old man. Everybody thinks I'm young and vibrant. I'm not, you know, it's like, hell, this isn't my thing. This is my gray hair. But man, I'm gonna be where I'm gonna be. And at the end of the day, it's God's determination when I go, not no damn doctors. So I may hurt, but we'll get through it. Steve, you're awesome, bro. You know, I love the fighting news. I love what you do in life, but never in my life did I ever imagine. Sorry, I had to use the pad today, but never in my life did I ever imagine that you would be that true of a brother and step up time and time again and have my back. Because of that, bro, anything you ever need, I will always be there for you. And I'm not just saying it because we're on the show. I just want people to know how fucking real you are. You know, this man has saved my ass more times than I can shake a stick. You know, if you think I could have got through this show tonight by myself, then you're sadly mistaken. You know, I'm hurting like hell, but I'll tell you what, it takes two to put things together. And you know what? Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. On that note, to all the fans, tune in. It's much
Yeah.
must watch TV. BYB 37.
Denver, Colorado, the
Denver,
Stockyard.
Colorado, the
And I tell you,
22nd February.
the main and co-main are fire, bro. I'm so excited. It got me all knotted up. Hey, Sammy, you have a good night, my friend. Tell everybody over in the UK we love them. On that note, we're out of here, bro. Have a good night. God bless.